Gather round, gang. There was a hole here. It's gone now. The horror genre of video games and I have what I would call a complicated relationship. It seems to me that there's maybe one good horror game that comes out every, decade or something. I truly, honestly believed for a time that the Resident Evil 4 remake would be this decade's good horror game. But oh, my friends, how I was wrong. The gods have smiled upon us. The table before us is a feast of kingly proportions. We've been blessed with not just one, but two, count 'em two, really good horror game remakes in the span of a little over a year. I know I said in my last video that Space Marine 2 is probably gonna be my favorite game this year, but god damn it, good video games just keep releasing. I can't help it. Silent Hill 2 is a remake of the original horror classic, and good golly was I surprised by how much I love it. I never played the original, nor have I actually played any of the Silent Hill games before. I've always been on Team Resident Evil, but I have seen the Super Best Friends Let's Play of it, so I guess you could call me an expert in all things Silent Hill. I miss them so much. Silent Hill 2 is developed by Bloober Team, whose iffy record had me very worried for a long time about the quality of this release. I really liked Layers of Fear and Observer, because anything touched by Rutger Hauer is gold, and the world is a darker place with him gone. But everything else they've released has been, they've been bad. Bad. That and being published by had me convinced that this game would be a trash fire of such unprecedented proportions that the black toxic smoke would blot out the sun and bring about a new age of strife for all humankind. I was wrong though, which is actually a first for me. I've never been wrong about anything before. I don't like this feeling. I feel sick to my stomach. In Silent Hill 2, you take on the role of certified wife guy, James Sunderland. We all love wife guys, right gang? James has received a letter from his beloved, very dead wife, Mary, telling him to meet her in the cozy little resort town of Silent Hill. Being completely rational and of sound mind, James disregards this letter as a cruel prank from the neighbor's kids and decides to move on with his life, finding the joy in the little things, knowing that it's what Mary would have wanted. You spend the rest of the game walking the neighborhood, going to coffee shops, and reconnecting with the community. Just kidding. He goes to Silent Hill, obviously. Fun fact, the Silent Hill franchise is not actually a horror franchise. Rural Maine just kind of looks like that sometimes. James, being a man with a propensity for sticking his fingers in strange holes, feels right at home here. Throughout his journey to reunite with his dead wife, James will face down a number of collective spooks and scares. Okay, hear me out. Along the way, he will meet a colorful cast of characters and the most horrifying thing of them all, a human child. Silent Hill 2 is a semi-open world horror survival game a la Resident Evil. But unlike Resident Evil, you are not a badass action hero sent in to save the day and rescue the president's daughter. You're a middle-aged, scrawny white boy with absolutely zero quirk to speak of. Instead of rocket launchers and backflips, you've got a plank of wood and severe mental illness. Combat is rather simple and straightforward. You've got your trusty attack button and a dodge button. You also have guns, which you can shoot sometimes. Some may say that this combat is simple, but I call it effective. James is not a fighter. He's a limp-wristed office clerk, and he fights like one. You're not going to be mowing down hordes of nurses and whatever the hell these things are. Sometimes, running away is the bravest choice we can make. I will always appreciate a game that lets me continuously wail on an enemy's corpse after they've fallen. Not only does it give you the uneasy feeling of never being entirely sure if it's dead or not, but it's also just really fun. Entering a new area in this game induces the worst anxieties within me. I get that big pit in the bottom of my stomach, the one that my ancestors evolved over the course of thousands of years of history for the purposes of survival. But unlike my ancestors, I ain't no bitch. Oh shit. Oh, sweet Jesus. I don't even like video games. The user experience is placed front and center in importance here. You may have noticed this, but there is just about zero UI. The game does everything to keep the relevant information that you need within the game itself without any intrusive or distracting HUD elements. Your health is indicated by the amount of blood on James's body. Your map is a physical item that you have to open to view. Frankly, I find this kind of game design appalling. Naturalistic user experience is offensive to me. I think the game would do much better with a gigantic HUD that takes up half the screen. Give me a health bar, stamina bar, inventory bar, minimap, objective marker, and hints that pop up every 2 seconds in case you forget how to walk. Oh, and replace the health drinks with Prime Energy so that I can be just like my favorite rapper, KSI. You know that a game is immersive when you really don't want to press the sprint button, and that's exactly how I felt playing this. I didn't want to rush, even with the dozens of foul creatures probably right behind me. I wanted to stay, drink it all in, experience every little morsel of detail that the developers left behind for me. It's a truly unique and beautiful experience that I struggle to define. I'm filling my britches, but at the same time, I can't help but admire the sheer amount of work that went into making me fill my britches. I'm running out of underwear, but I gotta respect it. Normally, when I'm recording video for these reviews, I like to try and get as many cinematic and visually appealing shots as I can for the visuals section. Sometimes this is easy, sometimes it's very, very hard. It really depends on the video game and how much it shows off. This has, so far, been the easiest by about a mile. I have literal hours of this kind of footage because Silent Hill 2 is gorgeous. The best thing a game can do when it knows how good it looks is to show it off, and by golly does this game love to show off. Every little detail in the environment feels purposeful and handcrafted for the user experience. It's not just that Silent Hill is a scary place. It can be hauntingly beautiful, rugged and worn in, or just downright gross when the occasion calls for it. It's a place filled with monsters, sure, but the visuals tell you that there's something deeper here, something far more sinister lurking just beneath the surface. The beauty of design is extended not only to the world, but the characters within. Angela looks fragile, Laura looks innocent, Eddie looks... oh god, I hate looking at this guy. James looks like Leon Kennedy after losing everything in the divorce. Every character's personality is beautifully reflected in their design. Enemy designs are perfect, just as they were in the original. Monsters in Silent Hill are supposed to stem from the protagonist's psyche and act as a manifestation of their darkest emotions, which means that our boy James here has got some, interesting hang-ups. Just remember that canonically, this man is bricked up the whole time. Either that or the developers were. Oh, to be a fly on the wall when these lonely, overworked Japanese game developers were huddled around in a circle, designing this thing in 2001. Imagine the smell. Is it my place to judge a man for his kinks? Yes, and I deem either James or the developers to be freak bitches. Boss designs are especially evocative. You have the recurring motif of creatures trapped within frames or cages of some kind. You've got the iconic pyramid head, the flesh lips, the abstract daddy. And no, I'm not making any of these names up. There's a million little bits of symbolism here that one could talk about for hours on how they reflect James' internal thoughts and struggles. I always appreciate an enemy design that goes beyond big scary guy, probably with big glowing eyeballs for a weak point, and Silent Hill has always knocked it out of the park. It helps that this is the one game that Pyramid Head is actually supposed to be in, instead of just being a piece of marketing like he became in the later games. Silent Hill 2's soundtrack was originally composed by Akira Yamaoka, and reimagined for the remake by Akira Yamaoka. That's the kind of thing I love to see. They got the big man himself to come back over 20 years later to touch up his own masterpiece. This guy's Wikipedia page reads like an anime plot. When Konami began searching for a musician to compose Silent Hill's score, Yamaoka volunteered because he thought he would be the only one capable of making the soundtrack. The sheer aura of this man is blinding. The Silent Hill games have always been known for having top-tier soundtracks, but Silent Hill 2 has always been the GOAT, never to be topped. You've got a mix of haunting industrial tracks and somber guitar ballads, combined with frantic piano compositions and what I can only describe as lo-fi apocalyptic beats to relax and scream to. It's a soundtrack that could only work for Silent Hill, and only Silent Hill could work for it. The two work in tandem, equal parts in giving you that uniquely somber feeling. Sound design is intensely good. Some kind of dark god must have conjured this shit. No man is capable of making my hair stand on end like this. Whenever a horror game tells me to play in the dark with headphones on, I generally ignore it because I'm a lazy bastard. But for this game, this masterwork in sound design, I cannot advise it enough. This shit got me looking over my shoulder in the safety of my low crime rate suburban home. There's always something in the background, something off in the distance to make your blood run cold. I can't do it justice with just a few clips, but seriously, do yourself a favor and play this game with headphones. It's an entirely different experience. Voice acting was one of my biggest concerns going into this game. The original has some pretty infamously stilted dialogue, which I actually really love. Every character in the original speaks like they're just figuring out how to talk for the first time.
Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
Oh yeah? Why not?
Some might call it bad voice acting, but I think it's part of the game's soul. It adds to the uneasy atmosphere of the setting, and I was really worried that they'd get rid of it. Can you imagine if they replaced these iconic lines with modernized dialogue? Ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. It would ruin it beyond repair, which is why I am eternally grateful that they didn't. The voice actors did an excellent job at both making the lines from the original sound more organic, but keep that awkward, uncomfortable slant to it.
She's dead?
Oh, don't worry, I'm not crazy. At least I don't think so.
I didn't recognize much of the voice talent this time around. The only thing I could recognize is James's voice actor's very small role in Game of Thrones as Arthur Dane, and Eddie's voice actor who played another small role in the Dark Pictures anthology Little Hope, which I maintain is actually the best Dark Pictures game, and I am willing to die on that hill if I must. House of Ashes is only good because of Ashley Tisdale. Fight me! Nothing is truly perfect. Take me, for example. Sure, I may seem perfect to all of you, but that's only because you're comparing me to yourselves. I assure you, I have my flaws. My humility is one of them. In the same vein, Silent Hill 2 is only nearly perfect, and it is my duty to point these things out, as painful as it may be. Firstly, let's talk difficulty. I went into Silent Hill 2 expecting a hard game, not something that I can't handle of course, but I expected some challenge. I ended up finishing the game on normal difficulty with nearly 30 healing items in my inventory. I promise you, I'm not a god gamer by any means, so I do suggest playing on hard for the full experience. The puzzles were also pretty easy to me, so I suggest increasing the difficulty on those as well. Next, we gotta talk about performance. From my understanding, there have been some pretty nasty issues on PC, which I did not experience on console, but I thought it would be worth mentioning. I did, however, encounter a few frame rate drops, especially in the more chaotic moments. Nothing too terrible, and they didn't last for very long, but keep that in mind before buying. Also, I found some of the enemy placements kind of annoying. There were quite a few times where I'd walk into an area with an enemy in it that either had an awkward angle on me or would sneak up from behind while I was focused on a different enemy. It's one thing when you're outdoors and can position yourself better, but when it's inside a cramped room with not a lot of space to move around in, it can come off as a bit cheap when something whacks you from behind. Add the fact that the camera can be a little finicky in close encounters, and it's not an amazing experience. Lastly, a lot of this game is spent indoors, and while that's not a bad thing necessarily, I would have loved to explore the town more. My favorite segments of the game are when it opens up and lets you freely roam around the town of Silent Hill, exploring the empty streets and smashing car windows for supplies, and there just wasn't enough of it. Not that the indoor segments were bad or anything, but I was getting pretty tired of seeing cramped hallways by the end. A remake is made or unmade by two simple factors: respect for the original and willingness to improve upon it. A remake is something entirely built on something that came before, usually something held in very high regard. If you can't respect that, don't bother. At the same time, you have to be able to see what does and doesn't work about the original, and have a willingness to change things in a way that remains respectful to the original artist's intentions. Silent Hill 2 was clearly made with a deep reverence and love for its predecessor. It feels like a game made by longtime fans who understand what made the OG great in the first place.
This town's full of monsters. Who could just sit here and eat pizza?
This town is full of monsters. How can you sit there and eat pizza?
At the same time, it modernizes some of the more dated aspects for a modern audience. It does absolutely everything right that a remake needs to do, and then some. It appeals to old fans and newcomers alike. It's truly something special, and Bloober Team needs a goddamn raise. Fuck it. Konami, hand over the franchise. I will consider it reparations for killing PT, you sick bastards. Oh, also, this dead plant right here. It looks like a yellow herb from Resident Evil, and it confused me when I first saw it. That's all. Oh boy, it's time for my favorite segment where I find the bad criticism and make fun of people for it. Let's do this. This game is a huge fail. Probably one of the worst games of the year. Bloober Team is a fail as a company. They failed with Layers of Fear, and they have failed with this game. Hey, keep Layers of Fear's name out of your mouth. I love that game. The first one, anyway. Silent Hill 2 is a death sim. That's all that happens in this game. You just die over and over again. Again, I actually found this game surprisingly easy. I only died twice in the entire playthrough. Maybe the game isn't the problem here. It's boring and very badly executed. Pathetic story. Main character barely speaks one line, and the puzzles are dumb and huge waste of time and effort. Do not buy this trash. It is a pile of garbage and waste of money. Well, that was something, I guess. I'm wondering if this individual just doesn't like horror games or something. I don't know how anybody could play this and criticize it as boring. That just doesn't really compute with me. Guy slop. Starting the review off with some casual anti-Semitism. Classy. Watered down, censored, woke garbage that all the commercial review companies and commercial YouTube accounts will praise like it's a perfect creation. Well, I don't get paid for these reviews, and I'm saying it's a perfect creation, so what does that mean for me? Who do I contact to get paid for this review? Because, boy, I sure could use it. Reddit subreddits are heavily censored hug boxes, where people praise the game non-stop and take the fake reviews at face value. You can't trust anything anymore. They change fundamental parts of the game story / philosophy, like Maria's clothing, which ruins the lore. They moved the butterfly tattoo from her hip to her tits, and gave her a shirt. You can just say that you wanted to see her midriff. Homeboy is horny on main, and he's making it our problem. Voice acting is cringe. Angela sounds like an annoying middle-aged woman on TikTok. Not to mention they have made her look very bland and ugly. I'm very sorry that the abuse victim isn't sexy enough for you. You're actually sick in the head. I don't think the game is woke enough. Next time they should have made James black. Then it would have received a perfect 10. You know, I actually debated with myself on whether or not I should include this review in the video, but I think it's important. Look at the spelling mistakes, the grammar skills of a 10-year-old. The people that complain about this sort of thing are not the best and brightest among us. Don't ever deceive yourself into thinking that the people who complain about this sort of thing are intelligent or well-reasoned. They're not. Do you think that this guy felt good about himself after writing this? I promise you he's miserable. Don't be like this guy.
Bro, he runs like a fruitcake. The girl in the cemetery's face is fat. Maria ain't got her titties showing no more and her ass ain't out. But Pyramid Head is still fine though, so 1 star for my mans for real. A pointed and incisive review here by Oswald McGooner. I love being the same species as these people. Really makes me feel good about myself. Simply knowing that these people are made up of the exact same matter as myself and the rest of us makes me really sad, honestly. Listen, folks, is it kind of unfortunate that the 2 best horror games in the last year or so have been remakes of far older games? Kinda, but, who cares? I'd rather live in the world with the Silent Hill 2 remake than the one without it. Who knows, maybe this game's success will get Konami off of its ass and get them to actually make video games again, instead of filling the big pit in the back parking lot with pachinko money. Probably not, but a man can dream. Silent Hill 2 is a horror game through and through. It's got spooks, it's got scares, and when you think about it, that's kinda all you need. And Bloober Team absolutely knocked this one out of the park. It's so good, in fact, that I find myself stuck between 2 camps. Am I Team Silent Hill now? After all these years of being a Resident Evil fan, do I dare betray all that I know for something potentially greater? 2 roads diverge in a wood, and fuck it, I'm walking both. Thanks for watching, gang. As always, it means the world to me. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, or if you're feeling a little goofy, a little silly with it, if you will, you could even hit that crazy little bell icon. Who knows what might happen if you do? It'll give you notifications when I upload. That's what it does. I just turned 25 the other day, which means that my brain has finally finished developing and I can begin the process of decaying. I will consider each new subscriber from this video as a happy little birthday present for the birthday boy. If you'd like to suggest a game for me to review, or even just come and hang out and play games with myself, Queen Rat, and all of our lovely rat friends, you can join our Discord community with the link in the description below. We'd love to have you. That's all for now, gang. One love. See ya. Oh, and